guys nowadays, all they want is the perfect girl.
They want that build a rent a buy a Okay, back to what we're doing. My bad.
Hi, today we're going to talk about
No, two sides. We're doing two sides. No.
Yeah,
Go.
My name is Edysa.
I'm Perla.
And welcome to Two Sides. We're going to talk about censorship.
Oh God, fun topic, especially with today. Oh Jesus, everything is so out there. Is there really any censorship anymore? What would you define as censorship, though?
Censorship is the definition of blocking out impurities, as they would say, blocking out immature content or things that are sensitive to the audience, which is the first topic, sensitivities.
Look, okay, so there's a difference. There's sensitivities that have to be done because, like certain movies can't have certain body parts because there might be children watching. That's normal stuff. But then there's censorship where people are too goddamn sensitive nowadays. They are. People are babies. I don't know, you'll see a movie and people are like, oh no, that's not right. I'm like, it's a funny joke. That's all it is. It's a joke. It's to get a laugh. I don't know.
We censor ourselves so much that comedians just have gold on it, like Jeff Dunham does, where it's like the joke goes is just like we say something offensive and then the normal people laugh while the uptight people cringe and say, how dare they?
Yeah, because it becomes comedy gold now, like you say, because Jeff Dunham has a terrorist and he made it right after 9/11, and that is so unsensitive. But there's such a new generation that because they didn't live through it, it's making money. But anything we say now, everybody becomes so sensitive. I don't know if you know what cancel culture is going on right now.
Ah, yes.
Oh God, that is so fun. Because reporters now or anybody can't put anything out there because people are like, cancel it, deny it. It's their job to do things. It's their jobs to write. It's their jobs to produce.
We did not fight for the right of freedom of speech just to get canceled.
It is true. Just people don't have the right to do anything because everyone's like, oh, we don't want to offend this minority, or we don't want to offend this group, or we don't want to offend that. I'm like, and if you do, probably the people in it will probably agree with you. Honestly, it's not that bad. Oh God, my favorite stereotype is from, if you've ever seen the cartoon Despicable Me, where there's this big ass macho man and he's the villain and he has a pet and it's chicken and its name is Pollito. And honestly, I'm not offended because we do have chickens and we do name them Pollito.
And we do like tacos.
And we do like tacos. It's not a bad thing.
Naps are great.
They are. And people just get so offended because everyone's so sensitive. And half the time, if you ask the people that are getting targeted by anything, whether it be a newspaper, an article, a TV show, most of the time, honestly, unless it's aimed to be bad, they don't mind it.
Yeah, so long as you're giving out facts and it's not done in a malicious way,
most people don't care.
I mean, yeah, there's like racism, homophobia, like all that stuff. That's bad. That shit needs to be shut down. But like, for like comedy, so long as it's not done maliciously, so long as it's done to prove a point.
Yeah, again, going back to Jeff Dunham, he has Jose Jalapeno on a stick.
Jalapeno on a stick.
He's a jalapeno on a stick. And he does everything from the gardening worker bit to go back to Mexico or your BMW, your big Mexican women. Like, it's a thing. It's a bit. As long as he doesn't mean it maliciously, like go back to your country, honestly, it's not. I don't find it offensive personally. I don't. At least I don't.
I find it hysterical.
Mm-hmm. But there's just so much of it that people just, honestly, they just get so, I don't know, they get too rowdy. And then, especially with the internet nowadays, everybody just wants to say their opinion and they just do it to start a wildfire. And then people start bandwagging because of the censorship that comes around it.
Not to say that we're telling you to stereotype people and make fun of that. No. What we're saying is that, like, people are going to say stuff and some people are going to laugh. You can't get really butthurt about it all the time because then it's just going to start a whole nother thing. Like, we have jokes about Mexicans and other people have jokes about their own ethnicities.
Yeah.
And we make fun of each other, but never is it like in a malicious intent.
And that brings up to the question of how much censorship is enough. You know, where's the line? Again, writers, actors, comedians, journalists, movie makers, they have to think about this now because they have to think about, oh, where can I teeter-totter at the edge of it being funny, it being realistic, it being understandable without someone being, you know what I mean, offended. Like, where's the line? Where do you write that line?
It takes me back to writers and poets where their work were being censored and they still wrote it and they were killed for it. They were killed for their art because they wrote something about the king or like a political figure that like took offense to it, but they did it for a reason.
Yeah, and perfect example, there's other nations. Here we're grateful that if you don't like your current person, if you don't like an artist, if you don't like something, you can say whatever you want online, make posters, make pamphlets, make wall art. I've seen graffitis that make fun of, you know, artists here nowadays. And you're fine with it. But there's other places where you can't do that and you will get punished to the death for saying your own opinion. And that censorship is crazy to me because it's just an opinion. Again, people should be able to write things without being feared that they're going to lose their job or their life or their family. That's a lot just to censor over something that probably is not going to do anything wrong.
And once again, I keep repeating this, but some people do take it the wrong way. It's not about offending.
Yeah.
Again, without malicious intent.
There's my favorite thing to put an example is cartoons and newspapers. There's funny cartoons, and then if you've ever heard about the Holocaust, whether you believe in it or not, that's a whole different monster. But there was cartoons of the Jewish being drawn with exaggerated features. And that was meant for malicious intent. It was meant to degrade them.
Or the John Crow ones where the African Americans were drawn with big lips.
Yeah, all that's made with malicious intent. See, that's when censorship should be applied. That's where a line should be drawn. But let's say an African American draws an African American cartoon of his own people with his own funny, and then they censor him. It's like, no, that's just his life experience or her life experience shining through, making a funny joke. Or when they decide to speak up for an injustice and people are like, no, censor. No, it's an injustice that needs to be covered regardless.
I mean, if you're gonna censor one thing, you might as well censor it all.
Yeah, because you can't just be on one side of the line and be like, oh yes, oh no. You have to do. In laws nowadays, they censor so many reporters that want to get out news out there. And they can't because they're like, it's against the law. I don't know if you know this, but there's laws that allow things to be in court, to be sealed and documented. And even if reporters have it, if they report it, they can go to jail because they have to wait until the law permits it. And it's a law against censorship, ironically. And all these people just make more money while the time goes by. 5-10 years later, you find out the news that this person did something bad, but they already made their money. They already sold off their stocks. They don't.
Or like another example with the, you know, that disease you were telling me that was spread out in like the 1920s, and it was spreading. It was dangerous, and they didn't say anything.
And it's not that they didn't want to; it's that they couldn't. By law, the censorship, it was crazy. Writers couldn't say anything. They feared for their lives, whether it be government or whether it be people, because if they said anything, they were gonna have a target on their back. Like that. It got worse with time, and it's worse now.
Then again, you did mention about mass hysteria.
Yes. Okay. So I do get it why they did it, because especially nowadays, if you have a phone, if you have anything, you know that everything goes viral so fast. So can you imagine if someone said that there was a new virus going around and that it was spreading like wildfire? There would be mass hysteria.
And I guess that is some good about censorship. When it's trying to protect the whole to keep the peace calm, because if everybody panics, it's going to go worse.
And yeah, that is the good part of censorship. But again, those are rare
Very
occasions.
rare.
Again, that's a rare occasion.
And the bad part about it is textbooks.
Oh God, we were just recently with one of our classmates. He was taking a historical study, and he found out so much things about, he is Mexican, and he found out so many things about how they massacred and how they buried and none of this is in the textbook. And this is going on during wars that are in textbooks. But nobody knows. Nobody knows the numbers. Everybody cares about what war we won, but nobody shows the numbers that matter.
They're removing Thomas Jefferson from school textbooks of American studies. They're removing it from public school textbooks because it doesn't meet with their demands.
Yeah, and just because it doesn't fit in the mold of what they want us to learn.
Some people don't even know who won the Civil War, the North or the South.
Mm-hmm.
That's terrifying.
The fact that none of this is known just because someone is like, no, we don't want to end scratch. It's like you're taking a Sharpie and just blacking it all out.
Texas is the biggest censorship of them all.
Yeah, no, Texas is one of the biggest states.
If we change our textbooks, everyone changes their textbooks.
Because they have to. If Texas did it, oh my God. I know we always make fun of that everything's bigger and that we're better, but we definitely set a really high standard, honestly, here in Texas.
Mm-hmm.
So there's so much censorship in books, in magazines, in like news columns, everything. Can you just imagine any news you think of right now that's important to you? If technology wasn't so prevalent, for example, just any mass shooting, if they didn't want it covered, they could have sealed it, no problem. But because of technology, they can't anymore.
We're now finding out the killing of young African Americans, it's not a new thing.
No, this has been around for ages.
We just have phones now that are recording at all times.
Prove it. That can prove all this.
This isn't a new thing. This is now something that we're discovering because it's spreading now through technology. And now we're rising up.
Yeah, and now nobody can tell us, no, don't print it. No, don't speak about it. No, don't run it. They can't put them in jail because guess what? It's everywhere. That's the kind of censorship that should not be closed up somewhere because it deserves to be heard. There are people who's affecting lives and it deserves to be heard.
We are a very, very lucky country because everywhere else they censor everything. China
is currently battling their right for freedom to say things. Just basic freedom to say things. They're not even fighting for a revolution.
Russia.
Yeah, Russia, North Korea.
Oh God, and just everywhere.
And we get to say all this. We get to sit in front of a camera right now and tell you what we think about all these things.
In England, you can't even make fun of the Queen without getting in trouble.
Yeah, getting fined or going to jail.
And that's because they don't even have a monarchy anymore.
She's just the queen by title, not even, she doesn't rule anymore. And if you don't like our current president, you can say whatever you want. And if you love him, you can still say whatever you want. And guess what? No one can tell you anything for it because it's your right. No one can come up to you and say, don't say it, like way back when they would put you in jail for saying something. Because now you got every access and every way to say it.
Which is also an unfortunate thing because that means hate speeches.
They come out too. And that's the line for us. Where you start harming other people, when you start affecting other people by what you say and not in a positive way, not a good movement, that's line. You shouldn't be doing that. That shouldn't be a thing, unfortunately, but it is.
It is. It's a burden that we have to bear for our freedom of speech. It's an unfortunate thing.
But it's a give and take. Everything's a give and take here. And you can't, as people, we say that if we want the right kind of censorship, like right now that I just said, that's the kind of censorship I want. But who's really going to give it to us? Who has the right to place these laws? Because everybody has a benefit. I'm sorry, everybody has a, if we say that the government's going to cover mass hysteria and mass shootings. So fine, then let's make it political people. Well, guess what? They're going to run whatever they think is best for their candidates and stuff. anything we talk about, any ethnicity, any person, they are gonna run things on what it does best for them. Honestly, you can't do anything about it.
It's a complicated matter, very complicated indeed, and it's scary too, because you read about these things in books and stuff about how the government censors, how people censor, how things disappear, or how things are covered up, and like the unknown of things.
That's not even including, like, you right now you said, you made me think how people censor. If you cut a video, I can post a video, and if you cut it the right way, I can be the bad guy. And all because someone else decided to censor my good point, it sounds like I made fun of everyone else. That's it. A perfect example was that the kid with the Make America Great Again and the Indian playing his drums at like a school thing. Everyone hated on the kid for like 2 or 3 months this past year. And he got so much backslack for going in front of him. And when you see the whole video, it turns out they were both just standing there. And they were not offending each other at all. They were just standing there. And because someone decided to cut it up right and made it famous, well, the internet's forever. Can't take anything down. It's a good thing, but it's a bad thing too.
Censorship could make or harms people. It could kill people.
And it has. Honestly, the last issue of vaping problem, the first couple of stories were secluded and they were covered up. Can you imagine if we would have not known any of that? Other doctors from other places would have not been able to connect with each other and share each other's findings and maybe save somebody, all because someone would have said, no, it's going to cause this, or no, it's going to lose our money. And there goes everything.
And that's what it's all about. It's basically just about money.
It is. Half the stuff that is censored nowadays, it's for marketing purposes or just for money purposes. Another example would be the Nike problem with a football player that when he took his first knee, and then people started like banning, like burning their Nike products after something Nike put out, because they would have censored that. As much as they like to say nowadays they have to be held accountable, but way back when they would have not said that, because the money. It's all about the money.
It's all about that money, 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 babe.
It is. It's just all the censorship that comes nowadays. All these journals, they put it on their writers. If the Times magazine had something written and they didn't like it, they would tell their journal to scrap it. Why? Because it upsets the whatever they're running for, whatever money they're taking from whatever person. If they're taking it from a certain community, from the African American, from the Mexicans, from the white, if they say something controversial, guess what? There goes everything. There goes the stocks. There goes the market. So they're not going to do it.
I remember when Nike put out a brand for the hijabs, for the...
Oh, yeah, the world lost their mind.
World lost their mind. For something that Nike was trying to do to be culturally progressive about.
Yeah, because they exercise too, you know? They're people too. They need them too. Yeah. It's part of their culture. And they were trying to be actual decent human beings. And the world's like, oh, no, bad. I'm like, everyone's so delicate nowadays. Can't they just leave people alone? Everybody's so delicate.
They can't, Pearl. You don't understand. It upsets them.
Oh my God. It's just, I'm sorry. It's stupid how easy people get offended. There is a meme. I saw a meme of Bart Simpson being surrounded by guns, and it's in the middle of Bart's face. It says saying a joke, and it was everything around him, like every culture, every religion. Yeah, because whatever you say, someone's gonna be mad at you. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, whatever you want, someone's gonna be pissed at you. I'm sorry, somebody's gonna be mad at you no matter what.
It's like, again, good humor, good taste, good nature, nothing homophobic, racist, or anything, or sexist, or anything.
Yeah, just don't do it. Just don't try. Honestly, you're gonna be fine if you do it for the right reasons. People will understand, and even if they don't, the majority of people will. The main portion won't care. Honestly, they won't. They just won't. They won't care about anything. Just people are trying to find anything to nitpick at nowadays. what was the thing from the creator of Us that he created a whole African American movie cast and everyone was just losing their mind because there was no white person in it. I'm just like,
You mean every other goddamn movie?
and nobody's gonna say it, but I mean, he's got a point. But it's all because bad. Because it's new, it's bad, and because it's bad, it has to be censored. It does not have to be censored.
We're not gonna grow with censoring.
No, and then they made literally right before that there was a comedy movie on the KKK, and that made box office. I was like, how did that make box office? That is literally a historical event based on people that could still have PTSD. In some places, it still exists, and yet we can make a horror movie / fictional movie with an African American cast. Oh my goodness, I'm mind blown. I'm sorry, that's line.
Whoosh.
That's line to me.
Look, I mean, if you look back into the movies and stuff they putting back way when, you ain't gonna find that nowadays.
No, and if you did see movies back way when, minorities were totally there for laughs. The Mexicans were cleaners. The African Americans were, funnier. They would just make fun of them and they would just use them as comical relief when they first started, background characters. There wasn't really anything interesting, or females alone. They were just sex objects to put on a screen.
Legally Blonde was supposed to be just made for laugh, but the main character, the main actress that played her, she was just like, no, I'm gonna play it this way to make a point of it.
Because nobody cared to put their foot up because they didn't have the voice. You know what I mean? To put their foot down and be like, hey, this is not right. You are censoring us for saying this, but that person can get away with it. That's not right. And that's not what censorship is. It should be equal across the line. If you're going to do it, be equal. And if you're not going to be equal, don't goddamn do it. Just don't bother. I'm sorry. I'm upset. It upsets me. Because the censorship that only should be reserved is when you're rating movies, like children's movies. And even like that, I've seen so many cleavage shots in kids' movies, I don't even know why anymore.
The twerking in the Powerpuff Girls.
Oh yeah, there's twerking in the Powerpuff Girls. If you
the new one, not the old one.
Oh yeah, and then there's Teen Titans Go, and they have this whole make out scenes and stuff. Yeah, so yeah, obviously, sure, censor someone.
Obviously, that's so much better for the children.
Yeah, than somebody reading the real history of the United States. But no, let them twerk and let them make out and give that to a 6-year-old. Yeah, go right ahead, do that.
Boobs are great.
We're not talking about boobs right now. You're getting sidetracked again. I know they're great, but still, not the point. Not the point. Just please, just don't get easily offended. Censorship is there. Only in certain places should it be used. Nobody has the right to draw the line where it is because we are all different. And just don't take it too far. Please don't take it too far.
No blackface.
God, that's a whole nother topic for another day. But yes, please no stereotypical gay best friend in the movie, please.
GBF, get out of here.
Exactly. Blonde girls are not stupid.
Legally Blonde proved that.
They're just as smart as everyone else. And every minority is not just what they're stereotyped as. They are amazing. So just, let's not go there. Let's just not, before I start upsetting for reals on this. I'm not going to throw a fit here. Not now.
Overall, just don't be a butt about it.
Yeah, don't get so hurt. And if you do, just calm down and see the real reason before you start throwing up that tweet and resending it. Just before you reshare, just think about it for a hot second because you're affecting someone's life.
At the end of the day, watch Jeff Dunham.
Yes, Jeff Dunham. If you've never seen it, great way to laugh at your own kind of stereotype. They have them all. Don't worry about it. You'll find yourself in there.
Thanks.
Thanks for watching. Bye.
Thanks for watching. Click our logo to subscribe, or click one of the videos for more from the Paisano. Leave a comment letting us know your thoughts and what you'd like to see us cover next.